let's start off in the NFL. And I want to start off in the city of brotherly love in Philadelphia. As the Philadelphia Eagles, they are 5-6 on the season. They are second right now in the NFC East. They are on a 2-game winning streak. This comes after a dominating performance over the New Orleans Saints Sunday afternoon at Lincoln Financial Field. The Eagles beat the Saints 40-29, and they were dominant in that game overall. Jalen Hurts, he balled out in that game for the Philadelphia Eagles. He went 13 of 24. He only threw for 147 passing yards, but he had 3 touchdowns on the ground in that game. And that's where I want to start off on today's show. I went on record a few weeks ago in the immediate aftermath when the Philadelphia Eagles, they lost in the Thursday night matchup in week 6 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I told Eagle fans that they have to remain patient with Jalen Hurts because coming into the season, this was supposed to be a year where the Philadelphia Eagles see what they have in Jalen Hurts because they do have 3 draft picks next year, I believe, where in the first round, where they have an opportunity to select the quarterback of their future if they believe that Jalen Hurts is not the quarterback for their franchise moving forward. So they have, this upcoming draft to try to select their quarterback for the future if Jalen Hurts is not that guy. But after watching Jalen Hurts play against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in week 6, I said that Eagles fans need to remain patient with Jalen Hurts. And we know the Philadelphia fan base is not patient. They don't really wait around for players to develop. They expect instant results, quick, fast, and in a hurry. This is a city that has seen the likes like Allen Iverson, like Charles Barkley. With the Philadelphia Eagles, they had Randall Cunningham. Back in the day, they had Donovan McNabb, who led them to multiple NFC championship games. They were led by Andy Reid, one of the greatest NFL coaches in history at one point, lead their franchise. So the Philadelphia Eagles overall as a fan base, patience is something that is difficult for them. But I believe that the Philadelphia Eagles organization and their fans should be patient with Jalen Hurts. And I believe Jalen Hurts is a franchise quarterback that you can build your team around. And I've been very impressed with Jalen Hurts, the way he's been able to be dominant in the running game for the Philadelphia Eagles. And when you look at Jalen Hurts and what he's done in the running game for the Eagles, right? Let's compare him to Lamar Jackson. In Lamar Jackson's first 15 career starts, he had 4,120 total yards of offense, 26 touchdowns, 12 turnovers, 213 first downs. Jalen Hurts, in his first 15 career starts, 4,115 yards of total offense, 29 touchdowns, 11 turnovers, 209 total first downs. I say all that to say, you saw how the Baltimore Ravens and John Harbaugh was patient with Lamar Jackson. I believe the Philadelphia Eagles need to have the same attitude when it comes to Jalen Hurts as their franchise quarterback. I believe he is a quarterback that you can win with in the NFL. Now, look at Jalen Hurts back even in his college days. In college, Jalen Hurts, he had 80 touchdowns, 20 interceptions. He had 9,477 total yards. He completed 65% of his passes at the collegiate level. He was a winner in college. He got the Alabama Crimson Tide to the national championship game in 2018. Although he did get replaced by Tua in that game, he got them to the national championship game. And then you saw him transfer to Oklahoma in his senior season. And that year, he played at a very, very high level. He had 32 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. He completed 70% of his passes at the University of Oklahoma. This is a university that had the likes of Kyler Murray. They had Baker Mayfield at one point, and Jalen Hurts stepped right in and he performed at a high level at Oklahoma and had the Oklahoma Sooners in position to compete for a national championship. I've watched Jalen Hurts since he's been in the NFL, and I've been paying attention to how dominant he is in the running game. And let's talk about the first 7 games of the season for the Philadelphia Eagles compared to the last 3 games. And this is a credit to Nick Sirianni and the Philadelphia Eagles coaching staff. The first 7 games, their run play percentage was 32%, was ranked 30th in the NFL. The last 3 games, their run play percentage is 62%, and it's ranked first in the NFL. Running back carries per game. The first 7 games, it was 14, which was ranked 32nd in the NFL, dead last. The last 3 games, running back carries per game is 30 per game, and it's ranked 2nd in the NFL. Let's talk about rushing yards per game. The first 7 games of the season, they had 117 rushing yards per game, which was ranked 15th in the NFL. The last 3 games, they are rushing for over 209 rushing yards per game. That's ranked first currently right now in the NFL. So I want to give a lot of credit to Nick Sirianni and the Philadelphia Eagles coaching staff because they are doing a hell of a job putting Jalen Hurts in positions to be successful. And you see Sirianni building this offense around Jalen Hurts and playing to his strengths. Sirianni, he was the offensive coordinator last year in Indianapolis with Phillip Rivers. And I believe at the beginning of the season, you saw Sirianni want to build this offense in the passing game and have Jalen Hurts be a quarterback who drops back to pass, 25, 30 times a game. And that was their formula on how to win games in the early part of the season. It didn't work out for the Philadelphia Eagles. I have to give Sirianni some credit because he has built this offense around the strengths of Jalen Hurts, not Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers was his quarterback last year in Indianapolis. Now your quarterback is Phillip Rivers, Nick. And I have to give Nick some credit because he has played to Jalen Hurts' strengths. And that's one of the main things you have to do when you're a head coach in the NFL. You have to play to your quarterback's strengths. I give Cliff Kingsbury a lot of credit, the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals, because he's played to Kyler Murray's strengths. And I was critical of the hiring of Cliff Kingsbury. I didn't think he deserved the job, given the fact that he didn't have an impressive record at the collegiate level. But I have to give Kingsbury some credit for how he's coached Kyler Murray, because this year, before his ankle injury, Kyler Murray was an MVP candidate. And that's because Cliff Kingsbury built the offense around Kyler Murray's strengths. And that's exactly what Nick Sirianni is doing right now with Jalen Hurts. And coming into the season, I had the Philadelphia Eagles finishing last in the NFC East. I wasn't impressed with Nick Sirianni's press conference when he got the job. His introductory press conference was awful. It was awful. But he has won me over because you look at the Philadelphia Eagles right now, they're 5-6 on the season. They have an opportunity to compete for a wild card spot. I don't think they're going to win the division in the NFC East. I think the Dallas Cowboys are the favorites to win the NFC East, and they have a lead over the Philadelphia Eagles that I don't think the Eagles are going to be able to overcome. But can the Eagles sneak into the playoffs as a possible 7 seed? Possibly. Look at the NFC playoff picture right now. You got the Saints, they in there. You got the Minnesota Vikings in there as well. So you got right now the Saints, they're 5-5. Eagles, they own a tiebreaker over the Saints because they just beat them in week 11. Vikings, they're 5-5. I said the other day on the show, I believe if the Vikings can get to 10-7, they should be a playoff team in the NFC. But I think the Eagles may have an opportunity to sneak in the playoffs if they continue to play at a high level and run the football the way they're running the football right now. And this offensive line, they have been dominant. I got to give them some credit. All-Pro center, Jason Kelsey, right guard, Jake Driscoll, right tackle, Lane Johnson, left guard, Landon Dickerson, left tackle, Jordan Maleta. I love to show some love and give credit to offensive lines who are dominant. And this Philadelphia Eagles offensive line is arguably the best run blocking team in the NFL. And they're opening up running lanes for Jalen Hurts, for running back Miles Sanders, and Boston Scott. And so when they can set up the running game with Jalen Hurts and Miles Sanders, it also helps them in the passing game to be able to throw the ball down the field to receivers like Devontae Smith, like Jalen Reagor, like Dallas Goedert, who just signed a 4-year extension worth $57 million. So he got his money. That's why you saw them trade earlier in the season Zach Ertz, because they want Goddard to be their primary tight end and be their playmaker in this offense. But you look at Jalen Hurts in the game against the Saints, 18 carries, 69 rushing yards, 3 touchdowns. He's the third quarterback over the last 20 seasons to score 2 rushing touchdowns in the first quarter. And on the season, the Philadelphia Eagles, they are averaging 153 rushing yards per game. That's ranked second in the NFL. And I've been very, very impressed with the Philadelphia Eagles. And I think they have a shot to make the playoffs. I really, really do. And let's look at their last 6 games of the season. Week 12, they're at New York against the Giants. That's a winnable game for the Philadelphia Eagles, especially the way they are struggling with Daniel Jones. Week 13, they're at New York again against the Jets. That's a win for the Philadelphia Eagles. They got a bye in week 14. Week 15, they're home against the Washington football team. That's a winnable game. Week 16, they have the Giants in Philly. That's a game they can win. And then week 17, they got Washington, and they got the Cowboys in week 18. I can see the Philadelphia Eagles possibly finishing 9-8 and maybe sneaking into the playoffs in the NFC, because when you look at the NFC is very top heavy with the Packers, with the Cardinals, with the Cowboys, with the Bucks, with the Rams. After those 5 teams, there is a significant drop off, and the other teams at the bottom of the playoff bracket aren't very good. Like the Eagles, they just beat the New Orleans Saints. The Minnesota Vikings, they are inconsistent. Although I do believe in their talent. They got the best duo at receiver in Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson. And again, I said it on the show the other day, Kirk Cousins is having an MVP caliber season. But who are they competing against in the NFC? Like the Falcons? Give me a break. They just got blew out on Thursday Night Football against the New England Patriots. Carolina with Cam, maybe they can sneak into the playoff picture. But I think the Eagles have a legit chance to sneak into the playoffs as a wild card team and possibly be a sleeper come playoff time. It can happen. It can happen.